All right, everybody. Welcome to Friday Bible study. So now they're before the king, and in all matters of wisdom and understanding, that the king inquired of them. So the king is now, that now that they've spent all that time at the training table with the prince of the eunuchs, Malik, I think his name was, or something like that. Now they're before the king. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding, that the king inquired of them. So the king is like grilling them, asking them questions, these children of Israel who are captive in Babylon. So he's asking them questions, inquired of them. He found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm. And Daniel continued even unto the first year of King Cyrus. But now we're going to go back, and in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams. I don't think it's the second year per se. If I were to go back to Daniel, in the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. Well, maybe he did that in his very first year, and now we're in his second year. So, okay. And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, yeah, just go with what it says. Y'all, my brain is fried. The last day of school before spring break, I have kindergartners through eighth graders. My brain is fried. All right, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. So in the second year of Nebuchadnezzar, Daniel is there with them. We're just going to assume that Nebuchadnezzar went in there in his first year or early in his second year, and now it's maybe middle or late in his first year after Daniel and them have spent all that time at the training table, and now they're at the king's disposal as some of his top people. Suddenly Nebuchadnezzar dreamed a dream. Now this chapter 2, I want to say goes 50 verses. 49. In Daniel 2:43, I use that Bible verse probably as much as any. That's Mark of the Beast right there. So you're about to really get into some deep stuff here. So I want to start over because I'm all over the place. And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians, the astrologers, the sorcerers, the Chaldeans. Are any of these of the tribe of Judah, boys? Is this Daniel's crew? No. The magicians, astrologers, sorcerers, and Chaldeans, for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spoke the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever, which is how they spoke back then. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show you the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me. If you will not make known unto me the dream itself, with the and following up with the interpretation thereof, You're going to be cut into pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. But if you show me the dream and the interpretation thereof, you will all receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore, show me the dream and the interpretation thereof, please. You know how you put your fingers in that pacing? Yeah. So show me the interpretation now, please. Wow, right? That's pretty heavy. King, just tell us a dream, and then we'll give you the interpretation. I don't remember the dream, so you're going to tell me the dream, and then you're going to interpret it, knowing that if they made something up, the king would go, "That's not the dream." So what we get into in the next day or so is pretty deep. It's good stuff. Some of my favorite. It's one of my favorite storylines ever, and why I love the Book of Daniel so much. All right, John 5, 8 through 18. Jesus saith unto him, Rise and take up thy bed and walk. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. And on that same day was the Sabbath. I believe that's the man that was paralyzed by the lake that the angel needed to stir up the water from yesterday. The Jews therefore said unto him that was cured, It is the Sabbath day. Is it not lawful for thee to carry thy bed? And he answered them, He that made me whole, the same said unto me, Take up thy bed and walk. Then they asked him, What man is that which said unto thee, Take up thy bed and walk? I mean, good grief, if that was his bed that he needed to live, just leave it. Well, Jesus told him to take it up, so just didn't want to make it trash or garbage, leave garbage around. What, thinking like a rollaway or something, just a little something you'd roll up? I don't know. And he that was healed was not who it was, for Jesus had conveyed himself away, a multitude being in that place. So I think they're saying Jesus, and he that was healed. Well, no, it's a little tricky, but it does seem like Jesus has disappeared into the crowd. Who said such a thing? They demanded. The man didn't know, for Jesus had disappeared into the crowd. Okay. The man didn't know. What man is that which said unto thee, Take? And he that was healed wist not who it was. Wist not. That's what threw me, man. That was tough. The man didn't know, for Jesus disappeared into the crowd. Or, and he that was healed wist not who it was. And he that was healed wist not who it was. But you could tell the rest is, they hid himself away. But afterwards, Jesus disappeared into the crowd. We got 14 and 15. Then we get into 16, 17, 18. Let's count the verses, make sure they don't skip any. And that's where we end up today, 18. Okay. But afterwards, Jesus found him in the temple and told him, Now you are well, so stop sinning, or something even worse may happen to you. Then the man went and told the Jewish leaders it was Jesus who had healed him. So the Jewish leaders began harassing Jesus for breaking the Sabbath rules. And Jesus replied, My Father is always working, and so am I. So the Jewish leaders tried all the harder to find a way to kill him that fast. For he not only broke the Sabbath, he called God his Father, thereby making himself equal with God. And if you are equal with God, you are God. That's why Jesus, being the Son of God, is God. The man departed and told the Jews that it was Jesus which had made him whole, and therefore did the Jews persecute Jesus and sought to slay him, because he had done these things on the Sabbath day. But Jesus answered them, my Father worketh uh, hitherto. My Father worketh hitherto. I can't say it. I'm sorry. I wonder if Google could pronounce that for me.
Hitherto.
I knew it was something simple and just couldn't spit it out, could I? Nope. Hitherto. But Jesus answered them, my Father worketh hitherto. My Father worketh hitherto. Well, it just sounded out hither. Come on, man. Don't you teach phonics and stuff? My Father worketh hitherto, and I work. Therefore, the Jews sought the more to kill him, because he not only had broken the Sabbath, but said also that God was his Father, making him equal with God. Sometimes you just like to go back and read it in the King James. And one reason is if we're doing a Bible study and or teaching the Bible, and the King James is the best version we've got, even though it is not perfect, thanks to John 3:16 and others, kind of that whole area, actually. Um, we kind of like to go back and just kind of teach the King James. Um, when I first started reading out of a King James Bible, I had the toughest time trying to understand what in the world it was saying. 60% of the time, 50% of the time, 40% of the time, I don't know. But I can tell you that confusion has been cut not just in half, but probably cut 2/3. So if I had trouble with 40% of it, or if I had trouble with 30% of it, I've only got trouble with 10% of it. If I had trouble with 60% of it, I've only got trouble with 20% of it. So, but I still got trouble with it, as you can see. But if y'all are just learning all of this, it's good for me to go back and read it in the King James, um, just to try to help stay familiar with it. This is the King's English of the 1600s, 1500s, 1600s is the way people spoke back then. And as one said to me one time, it is like poetry, but folks, it is not perfect. It is not a perfect translation. It was translated by Erasmus, who was of the world religion of Rome, and he was a humanist. So study humanism, Google humanism, and know that they put man above spirit or supernatural. What does that tell you? That's putting man ahead of a God figure. Erasmus was a humanist. Erasmus was Catholic. I can make that statement. It's a factual statement. And then, so when Erasmus translated the original Greek over to in Hebrew over to what was called Textus Receptus, aka the received text. That body of work was then what was used to write the King James, which was also written by half Catholics and half Protestants. If you want to understand that process, God's Secretaries, Amazon. There's a book called God's Secretaries. Get it, read it. Tell me what you think. By Adam Nicholson. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. All right, that's it. Love y'all very much. What in the world?